Welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Professor Rani Sadasivamurthy from the Department of Sahitya, Rashtriya Samskrita Vidyapitha, Tirupati. The subject is Indian culture and the paper deals with Vedic, epic and Pauranic culture of India, and the present module deals with the importance of pilgrimage in Puranas. Here, the pilgrimage concept itself is very interesting for every Indian, and it is a part of Indian's life, and it is never viewed as a separate activity in Indian's life. This pilgrimage has an equivalent in Sanskrit, that is Tirthayatra. The word Tirtha has very magnificent and great meanings for it. And this Tirtha, as found in the Puranas and also in the ancient texts on Vedas and other allied literature of Sanskrit, it has several meanings and it has a lot of importance also. The types of Tirthayatra in India as found in Puranas, types of temple pratishthas and moksha nagaras, Jyotirlingas, Shaktipithas, Vishnu's temples, temples of other gods, places of the origin of rivers, holy mountains, temples in cities, and the riverside temples, the temples on the ocean shore, and all those are very, very important for every Indian. In the entire country, every inch and every part of the country is holy for every Indian. That's why visiting those places and having holy dips in the rivers and every such activity is holy for all Indians. So that comes under the term or under the concept of Tirthayatra. And the word Tirtha has many meanings. To know about the word Tirtha, basically is used in 7 meanings, that is Shastra, Adhvara, Kshetra, Upaya, Upadhyaya, Mantrishu. These are the 7 meanings basically being expressed by the word Tirtha. First one is Shastra. Shastra is that source of knowledge which helps every human being to cross from this abyss of the worldly attachments, and it helps one to attain moksha. That is Moksha Shastra. That is the part of Upanishads in the Vedas, and that's why that part of Upanishads is known as Shastra and it is Tirtha. Similarly, Adhvara, Yajna, by performing Yajnas also, one is lifted up in his life. Because of such upliftment, this Adhvara or Yajna also is known as Tirtha. And the third one is Upaya. With the help of such upayas, such ideas, a person can cross over the ocean of samsara or the life. That's why such upaya also is known as Tirtha. And then Upadhyaya. As an innocent person, as an ignorant person, a student joins at the feet of Upadhyaya and requests him to impart knowledge because of the greatness and grace of Upadhyaya and because of his concern for this boy or this child, the student will be able to cross from the ocean of Ajnana and reaches the ocean of Jnana. That's why this is also called, Upadhyaya also is called an ocean or a Tirtha. And then afterwards, Mantri. Mantri means who practices the worship as his sole aim of life, worship of Vishnu, worship of Shiva or worship of Shakti, and worship of other gods, whoever performs all this, he is also known as Tirtha. In this manner, anything holy in the country is considered by the term Tirtha. And here the places, the stationary places where we can get punya and where our sinful deeds can quit us, that place, that holy place is popularly known as Tirtha. And here yadadhyasita marhadbhihi tadhi tirtham prachakshate. This is an expression found in our ancient texts, according to whichever is stepped in by great people, whichever is dwelled in by great people, that is a Tirtha. So, Tirtha is popularly known as a holy place. And Tirtham tarati papadikam yasmat. By entering which place a person can cross over from all the effects of his sins, that place is Tirtha according to our ancient dictionaries and ancient texts. And types of Tirthas in India are of many kinds. As we were telling in previously, in India, rivers are holy, mountains are holy, cities are holy, and other places which are related with the emergence of the gods and goddesses, all those places are holy. So, mainly the temples which are holy, which are these parts of Tirtha Yatra, are of 5 kinds. One is Swayambhu Kshetra, where God by himself settled in that place to grace the people. They are Swayambhu Kshetras. There the God was not installed by any people, but he himself, he manifested himself there in that place. That's why it is called Swayambhu Kshetra. And then Deva Pratishtha, where the God is installed by other gods, lower gods. That is Devata Pratishtha. That is also is a great thing. Just like Shivalinga in the Rameshwaram was installed by Rama. So that's why it is called Devata Pratishtha. And then Arsha Pratishtha. If the sages install the gods, such Pratishtha is known as Arsha Pratishtha. That is also is a great one and sacred one. Then Saidha Pratishtha. If any great people get perfection and fulfillment through doing penance in any particular place, because of their dwelling there in that place, such place becomes holy, and there the gods installed by those great people are known as Saidha Pratishtha Devatas. And afterwards, Manusha Pratishtha, the human beings of our own age, are the human beings of our previous ages. If they install the gods, those are Manusha Pratishthas. All these places are holy for being visited by us. All these are known as Tirtha. And Tirthas in Puranas. As far as the references to the Tirthas are concerned, here in Agni Purana, Kurma Purana, Garuda Purana, Devi Bhagavata, and Narada Purana, Padma Purana, Brahma Purana, Bhagavata, Matsya, Varaha, Vamana, Vayu, Shiva, and Skanda Puranas. They deal with lots of accounts about different Tirthas in our Bharatavarsha and Bharatadesha. And here particularly 11 Puranas deal with the greatness of Sri Venkatachala Mahatmyam. The temple of Sri Venkateswara, we think that it has its history only from our Kali years. But according to Padma Purana, in the first Krita Yuga, Lord Sri Venkateswara himself appeared on the top of this hill. That's why ever since he has been dwelling here. having left Vaikuntha, he has been dwelling here. That's why this Venkatachala has such a great history. So here Venkateswara is a Swayambhu. He is not installed by anyone. Similarly, in the Skanda Purana and Shiva Purana, we have a beautiful accounts of the Badari Kshetra and Kedar Kshetra, Kasi Kshetra, and many other kshetras of Shiva and Vishnu, which are known as the most holy places of our country. And 12 Jyotirlingas, accounts about 12 Jyotirlingas and also about 18 Shaktipitas we have in all these Puranas. And to begin with, the cities, holy cities, which are considered as Tirthas, we have 7 holy cities: Ayodhya, Madhura, Maya, Kashi, Kanchi, Yavantika, Puri, Dwaravati, Chaiva, Saptaite, Mokshadayaka. There are many cities in our country, but all the cities are not alike, all the cities are not holy, but the most holy cities are these 7. Why? Because by visiting some gods, we get wealth. By visiting some other gods, we get the fulfillment of our desires. While visiting some other gods, we may get job or we may get fulfillment in our worldly expectations. These are all common places where we can get some worldly satisfaction. But if we visit these 7 cities, Ayodhya, Madhura, Maya is modern Haridwar, and Kashi, Kanchi, Avantika, that is Ujjain, and then Dwaravati Puri. Some people include Puri also, the Jagannath Kshetra Puri also in this list. But if we consider Puri also, instead of Sapta, we get Ashta, 8. But here, when we count Ayodhya 1, Madhura 2, Maya 3, Kasi 4th one, Kanchi 5th one, Avantika 6th one, and Dwaravati 7th one. That's why the 7 Moksha Nagaras are these only, and Puri is not there, and the Puri of Jagannath Kshetra has a separate entity, and its influence and greatness also are separate. In this manner, after the 7 Moksha Nagaras, we come across the 12 Jyotirlingas. Jyotirlingas also are Swayambhu Lingas. They were not installed by any gods except Rameshwaram. So, Saurashtre Somanathancha, Sri Saile Mallikarjunam, Ujjainyam Mahakalam, Omkaram Amaleshwaram, Prajvalyam Vaidyanathancha, Dakinyam Bhimashankaram, Setubandhe cha Ramesham, Nagesham Darukavani, Varanasham tu Vishvesham, Triambakam Gautami tate, Himalaye tu Kedaram, Ghushneshan cha Shivalaye, Yetani Jyotirlingani, Sayam Prata Smaren Naraha, Sapta Janma Kritam Papam, Smaranena Vinashyati. These are the shlokas we find in Skanda Purana and also in the other Puranas. According to these, 12 Jyotirlingas are there. These are considered as the holiest places in our country. And here, Saurashtre Somanatham, Somanatha Devalaya, one of the 12 Jyotirlingas, is found in the Gujarat state. And then Sri Shaila is the place of Mallikarjuna Mahalinga. And then Ujjaini, modern Ujjaini, or ancient Avantika, that is the place for Mahakaleshwara. And Omkaram, which is nearby Ujjaini at some distance, that is Amareshwara Swami is the god of that Omkara Kshetra. And Prajvalyam, this Prajvalya in the modern days is known as Parali, and here we have Vaidyanatha Maheshwara. And then Dakini is this place for abode of Bhimashankara. And then Setubandha, that is Rameshwaram, that is the source for Ramesha Mahalinga. And then Nagesham, Nagesham also is there, and in the Nagesha we have Daruka Vaneshwara, and then Varanasi, the Kashi is the place for Vishweshwara Mahalinga, and then Triambaka Gautami Tati. On the banks of river Gautami Godavari, we have the Triambakeshwara Shivalinga, and then in the Himalayas we have Kedarashwara Shivalinga, and in Kushnesha in the Shivalaya. So in this manner, these Dvadasi Jyotirlingas dwell in various places of our country, and whether we visit them or not, even if we just utter these 12 names, we will get great punyam and we will be relieved from our sins according to the references in the Puranas. Next, after Jyotirlingas, we have the 18 Shaktipitas. These Shaktipitas have a reference in the Skanda Purana and other Puranas, being connected to a story of Sati and Maheshwara. Sati was the wife of Maheshwara, and she was the daughter of Daksha. Daksha had disregard for Shiva for some reasons. So he had a thought to conduct a yaga, perform a yaga without inviting Shiva. So Shiva is Yajneshwara. In the absence of Shiva, no one can perform yajna. But this Daksha has taken a decision to perform sacrifice in the absence of Shiva. This was held by Sati. Though she was asked not to go to her father's house to attend that yajna, she wanted to go there and she attended the Yajnasthala. When she reached the Yajnavatika, Daksha, on seeing her, started abusing Shiva, and the abusing continued for a long time. She could not bear with her father's arrogance, and she created Yogagni and jumped into Yogagni and lost her lives. In the meanwhile, Shiva came to know this incident, and he sent Veerabhadra to destroy the yajna of Daksha. While Veerabhadra was destroying the yajna, Shiva came there and he took the body of Sati over his shoulders and he started doing cosmic dance. All the worlds started trembling out of fear on seeing the cosmic dance of Shiva. In the meanwhile, all the gods prayed to Lord Vishnu to save them from the anger of Lord Shiva, and Vishnu hurled the Sudarshan Chakra to cut the body of Sati, which is on the shoulders of Shiva, to become into some pieces. So the pieces fallen on the ground, according to one count, they were 108. According to another count, they are 51. And the most important of all these 108 or 51 pieces are 18 pieces. Those 18 pieces of the body of Sati Devi became 18 great Shaktipitas, Punyasthanas. They are Lankayam Shankari Devi, Kamakshi Kanchikapure, Prajumne Shrunkhala Devi, Chamunda Kaunchapattade, Alampure Jogulamba, Srisaile Brahmarambika, Kolhapura Mahalakshmi, Maharyam Yakavirika, Ujjainyam Mahakali, Pitikayam Puruhitika, and Vodyanam Girijadevi, Manikya Dakshavatike, Harikshetre Kamarupi, Prayage Madhaveshwari, Jwalayam Vaishnavi Devi, Gayayam Mangalya Gauriki, Varanasyam Visalakshi, Kashmiri tu Saraswati, Ashtadasaiva Pithani, Yoninam Apadule Bhanicha. So in this manner, the 18 Pithas are explained, and Lankayam Shankari Devi. In Sri Lanka, the Shakti Pitha is known as that of Shankari Devi, and Kanchipura is known for Kamakshi Shakti Pitha, and Pradyumna, a place in Orissa, is known as the place for Shrinkhala Devi, and Chamunda in Kraunchapatala. Kraunchapatala is modern Mysore. There we have the goddess Chamundeshwari temple, and then Alampura is popular for Jogulamba, then Srisaila is the place for Bhramarambika, and then Kolhapur is the place of Mahalakshmi, and Maharyam Ekavirika. Mahari is a place where we have Ekavira Devi, and Ujjaini is the place for Mahakali, and Puruhutika is the place for Vodhyana, and Girija Devi is the goddess of Vodhyana Pitha, and Vodhyana Pitha also is in Utkala, and then Manikya, that is Manikyamba is the goddess in Dakshavatika, and Harikshetra is known for Kamarupi Devi, and Prayaga is the place for Madhaveshwari, and Jvala, that is Jwalamukhi, is the place for Vaishnavi Devi, and Gaya is the place for Mangalya Gauri, and Varanasi is the place for Viksha, and Varanasi is the place for Visalakshi, and Kashmira is the place for Saraswati. These are the major 18 Shakti Pithas which are very holy to everyone in our country. That's why this is also a part of Tirtha Yatra for us. And after this, we have the Vishnu Kshetras. Among Vishnu Kshetras, we have Sri Venkatachala and Badari Kshetra, Brindavana, popular for Krishna's place, and Jagannatha Kshetra, popular for Jagannatha, and Haridwar, and similarly Ganesh Kshetras are, several Ganesh Kshetras are there, and Kumar Kshetras are there, Saura Kshetras, the places of Surya, Arasavelli and Konarka, all these are holy places. These places are very often visited by thousands and thousands of devotees. Sometimes even in lakhs people go and visit these places for several purposes. Similarly, there are 7 mountains and 7 rivers which are considered as the very holy places and tirthas for everyone. The 7 mountains are Mahendra, Malaya, Sahya, Himalaya, Raivataka, Vindhya. All these are very holy for every Indian, including Aravali among these 7 mountains. So, this Giri Parikrama also is considered as a source of punya for everyone. So, certain giris are went around every day. So, certain giris are gone around by all the devotees to acquire lot of punya. And after that, 7 rivers are Gange, Yamune, Krishna, Godavari, Saraswati, Narmade, Sindhu, Kaveri, Jalesmin, Sannidhim Kuru. Every day while performing puja to any of the gods or goddesses, first in the waters through which we perform the puja, we request all the goddesses of the rivers to dwell in the pot where the water is kept for performing puja. And the 7 most holy rivers are these: Ganga, Yamuna, Krishna, Godavari, Kaveri, Saraswati, Narmada, Sindhu, etc. All these rivers purify, and all these rivers give us lot of strength for purification of our inner elements. And then this, what should we do in the tirthas? That is very important for us. First thing we have to do is snanam. After snanam, we have to offer darpanams to our forefathers, and then tirtha deva darshanam. After offering tarpana to our forefathers, we have to visit the god, main god of that particular tirtha. And after deva darshanam, archana also should be done. Worshipping him also should be there. And after archanam, danam should be there. Having deserved people, we have to offer Danam to them. And after Danam, Nivasa also is very important. Staying in the holy place for 1 day or 2 days. That is also is required. And Tirthatoyasya Snane Punyatvam Yatha. They say in the Vahni Purana, Agni Purana, they say about the importance of taking bath in the tirthas. They say Nadi Deva Nikateshu Tadageshu Sarassucha Snanam Samachare Nityam Garta Prasravaneshu Cha Nipadanat Udhritya Punyam Tataha Prasravanadikam Tatopi Sarasam Punyam Tato Nade Yamuchate Tirthatoyam Tatah Punyam Gangatoyam Tatodhikam. There are grades. We have to take bath regularly, not at home, but in these places. What are the? First one is nadis, rivers, and then Devanikateshu. Then the tanks in front of the temples, which are dug for the sake of offering water for the Abhisheka of the gods. They are known as Devanikatas. There also we can take, which is a general water source where the ancient Indian travelers used to take their bath. That is also a source for taking bath. And then Saras, lakes also are the places for snana. But here there is a gradation in taking this one. When this, the general lakes and other things are the lowest place of preference for our bathing, and after that Sarasam. After Sarasam, then Nadeyam, river is greater than Saras, and then the Tirthatoya, the holy places where waters are available, they are greater than Nadis. And of all water sources, Ganga is the holiest. So having a dip in Ganga is said to have been a great thing in human life. And then after that we have to offer Danam. How should we offer? Hiranyam, Gam, Mahim, Graman, Hastyashvan, Nrupatirvaran, Pradat, Swarnancha Viprebhya, Prajatirthe Satirthavit. When we visit a holy place, according to our possessions, according to the accumulation of our wealth, we can offer different kinds of things to deserved people. What are those things? The list is being in the following manner. Hiranyam, gold can be offered, then cows can be offered, then land also can be offered, even villages one can gift to the people, and hastis, elephants can be given, ashwa, a horse also can be given, and like this, all the precious things, if they are offered to deserved people, and that person who makes this kind of dana is considered to be the best of all, who knows about the greatness of tirtha. And then Triveni Sangame Tirthe Tattvamasya Lakshane Snayat Tattvardhabhavena Tirthanama Sauchyate. And visiting tirthas is one thing. Particularly of all the tirthas, the holiest is Triveni Sangama according to some Puranas. Triveni Sangama is the place where the rivers Ganga, Yamuna and Saraswati meet together. That is Prayaga of Allahabad. One who performs bathing there and one who studies and learns Upanishads on the banks of this Triveni Sangama, and he himself is considered as another tirtha. That is, he also becomes the holiest person. So, speaking with such holy people also helps us to get some punya. And now, what are the benefits of visiting these tirthas and holy places? They are also enlisted in the Puranas. Out of all of them, first thing is acquiring acquiring religious merits. Religious merit means punya. Acquiring punya is the first benefit of visiting tirthas. And then to be relieved of sins, the earlier committed all sins will get rid of us, will leave us in no fraction of seconds. The moment we step into the tirtha, our sins will leave us. That's why to get rid of all the sins is the second purpose of visiting tirthas, and then get rid of many diseases by taking bath in the waters that flow through many herbal regions. For instance, if we take Ganga, Ganga flows through Himalayan regions where wonderful herbs grow. So, because of the association of the waters of Ganga with such holy and wonderful herbs, these Ganga waters get such a power to cure even chronic diseases. That's why having a holy dip in Ganga helps us to get rid of diseases also. And then to show our respect to great men of the Indian tradition, we have to visit the holy places. In every holy place, thousands and thousands of great people used to dwell. Even today, many holy people are dwelling there. That's why by visiting the holy place, it is a kind of respect to the great men of those areas being paid by us. And then to help the poor in various regions. When we go to various holy places, Dhanam is said to be one of the main things to perform. To whom do we offer Dhanam? To the needy. Those needy people are generally poor. By offering good things to poor people, we are helping them to sustain and to survive. So, this is a kind of human service also involved in visiting tirthas. And then for providing holy words to our ancestors. Pitru Tarpanam is one of the main deeds to be performed in holy tirthas. So, by performing Pitru Tarpana, our forefathers are pleased. And then acquiring knowledge of the purpose of life. When we go to holy places, by visiting them, by visiting great people of those areas, we receive many religious lessons through which we can understand the purpose of life and harmoniously we can live with our country people. All these are the purposes of visiting holy places, and hence holy places visiting is considered as one of the part of our living, and it is a natural part of our living.